unaware of the video game Undertale, it's a game where you can alter the ending based on enemies you defeated. One ending is Pacifist. In Pacifist, your goal is to avoid enemies and befriend them, which will result in a pacifist ending. After I completed my playthrough of Undertale, I asked myself, is it possible to do a pacifist for other games? With this question in mind, I started my quest to do pacifist runs, and one of the first games I did was Super Mario Galaxy 2. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is just like every other Mario game. You collect the power stars to progress, and your goal is to defeat Bowser at the end. Each level has a different amount of enemies inside of it. Today we will be playing through Super Mario Galaxy 2, but how many enemies do we need to defeat in order to beat the game? Can you complete this entire game pacifist? Well, let's find out. Before we start this pacifist challenge, we must lay down some rules to classify what an enemy is and what isn't an enemy. If something can hurt Mario, it is considered an enemy. The only exception to this is bosses. What classifies as a boss? In order to classify something as a boss upon defeating, the boss must drop a power star. If the boss does not drop a power star, it is considered an enemy. Now, what classifies as defeating enemies? If Mario uses any techniques that the game provides to defeat an enemy, then that counts as a defeated enemy. However, if an outside force defeats the enemy, that does not count as defeation. For example, if a bullet runs into a wall on its own, that would not count as defeation. However, if Mario uses Yoshi to redirect the bullet somewhere, then that counts as defeation. Also, let's talk about cosmic clones really quickly. If the game defeats the cosmic clones automatically, that does not count as defeation. However, if Mario runs into a cosmic clone on accident and takes damage, then that counts as defeation. Now that covers about everything. Let's begin the pacifist challenge of Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Bruh.
We start the game how we normally would. We head through the opening cutscene, acquired a spinning technique, speak to Bowser, and head on our way to Sky Station Galaxy. Sky Station Galaxy was actually quite easy to go through. We skipped the beginning part of the level by backflipping on the house to get to the next planet early. We then go through the next planet and take shortcuts to get through it faster, all while avoiding Octo Goombas. Then we make our way to the planet where the comet medal is located. We managed to skip most of this planet by long jumping, so we avoided the enemies pretty easily. Then we arrived at our first boss, Pee-wee Piranha. After fighting Pee-wee, we managed to go through our first level without defeating any enemies. After unlocking Starship Mario, we head into the next galaxy, Yoshi Star Galaxy. Now, if you didn't know, to unlock Yoshi in this game, you must defeat a Magic Koopa which constantly spawns enemies. This was a problem. There is no way to progress through this level without unlocking Yoshi, and we can't unlock Yoshi without first defeating the Magic Koopa. I wandered around this planet for a good 20 minutes, and no matter what I did, I could not find a way to get around the Magic Koopa to unlock Yoshi. So I finally decided to end up defeating the Magic Koopa so I can start progressing again. This was our first enemy defeated. The rest of the star was pretty easy to go through, and no other enemy was defeated. After completing this star, we have a choice between two different stars to complete in order to progress. I decided to go to the second star in Sky Station Galaxy rather than the second star in Yoshi Star Galaxy. This was to avoid the countless spiny enemies that would be required to defeat in order to collect the power star. Upon entering the second star in Sky Station Galaxy, we are tasked with defeating a Chain Chomp. In order to unlock the launch star in order to progress through this level, unfortunately I had no choice but to defeat this poor enemy, or else I wouldn't be able to progress. The rest of this level was pretty easy to go through. There was a small cosmic clone section, but I managed to go through it without running into any cosmic clones. Our next problem had shown itself when we got to the final planet of the level. There is a giant piranha plant there which doesn't count as a boss because it doesn't reward a power star. It gives you a key instead. This unfortunately means that I had to defeat the giant piranha plant in order to progress through the level and collect the star. After collecting the power star in Sky Station Galaxy, I went into Spin Dig Galaxy and made my way through the level. The level was pretty easy. I took the level a bit slow because of how the drill power-up is programmed to be uncontrollable once you're in the ground. I managed to make it to the boss of the level without defeating a single enemy. However, I somehow managed to get to the very last moment of this boss fight without defeating a single enemy. But at the end, I accidentally drilled into an enemy because I ran into Dig-a-Leg's leg. After getting the power star from Dig-a-Leg, we go into the second star in this galaxy, but we ran into a problem. In order to progress, a piranha plant stands in our way to unlock the vine. Unfortunately, there is no way to get around this piranha plant, so I had to defeat them. After I got to the next area, I also accidentally defeated another enemy who was blocking our path, which made our total for enemies defeated go up much higher than it needed to be. After being extremely careful on this last planet and taking it very slow, I collected all of the silver stars and unlocked the power star. We then entered Flipswap Galaxy. The only enemies that I needed to worry about was at the beginning. We managed to beat Flipswap Galaxy without a single enemy gone. After Flipswap Galaxy, we head into the right side down galaxy and head into the area with a secret star first because it would be much simpler to do first before heading into the rest of the galaxy. After destroying all the boxes for this robot loser, we try and go through the rest of the galaxy. 2 Goombas were accidentally defeated in this level due to the chaos of the Fire Flower and the restriction of this level being 2D. We now head into Fluffy Bluff Galaxy and collect all the required coins to defeat the Hungry Luma and get the secret star. Then we go through the rest of the galaxy. There was a small cosmic clone section, but we managed to somehow get through this galaxy without any enemies defeated. We now head into the final galaxy of World 1 and make our way to the Gobblegut fight. We did the Thwomp skip to avoid the Magikoopa and the enemies in front of the Bowser Jr. door. After defeating Gobblegut, we are rewarded our first Grand Star and sent on our way to World 2. In World 2, we are first greeted with Puzzle Plant Galaxy. This galaxy had a lot of enemies that could potentially be a problem. We get through the first planet with ease, and on the second planet we do the Launch Star early skip to avoid the Octogoomba that is blocking our way from ground pounding. We head through the rest of the galaxy and find ourselves at the boss fight. Now this boss fight is unlike any other boss fight in the game. The one that is technically considered a boss is the beetle on the bottom, but the one on top is the baby, which is considered an enemy because it doesn't reward a power star, thus resulting in another enemy defeated. After getting through Puzzle Plant Galaxy, we now enter a split path on the world map. Since Boulder Bowl Galaxy requires you to defeat tons of enemies, we skip this galaxy and head into Hightail Falls. There is a secret star in this galaxy, but in order to get to the secret star, you must defeat these frog-like creatures that aren't seen anywhere else in the game. However, they are still classified as enemies, so we could only collect the first power star in this level to avoid defeating more enemies. After this point, we skipped a lot of power stars and we must play some risky levels in order to continue progressing. After collecting the power star in Hightail Falls, we head back into Puzzle Plank to get this secret star. Somehow we collected enough coins without defeating any enemies, even the Octogoomba at the second planet puzzle that was blocking our way before. After defeating the secret boss in Puzzle Plant Galaxy, we head into Wild Glide Galaxy and get the star there. Luckily for us, this star doesn't have any enemies to defeat, so we can get through it with ease. After Wild Glide, we go into Cosmic Cove. I decided to avoid shells at all costs in this galaxy due to the light from the shell, which could potentially hit these stick-like creatures. We get the secret star in the galaxy and the first star. I entirely forgot to get the second star, by the way. After this galaxy, we head into the final level in World 2. This level was crazily fun to play without defeating enemies. At the start of the level, you're greeted with the required defeation of a Magikoopa, but thanks to long jumping, we can avoid the defeation of the Magikoopa and can head into the next planet of the level. The next required enemy to defeat here is a Hammerbro, but thanks to some jumping and spinning, we could do a cool looking skip to avoid defeating the Hammerbro. We then arrive at Bowser and collect the Grand Star that was inside of his digestive system for some reason, because according to him, Grand Stars taste good. World 3 now awaits.
Nope.
Upon entering World 3, we have a split path. I decided to go into Cloudy Court Galaxy first because it just seemed easier to do. In this galaxy, we get the first star and the secret star. The secret star spawns in cosmic clones, but we avoid taking damage from this easily. We now head into Tall Trunk Galaxy and take it very slowly to avoid hitting the Paragoombas with the Blimp Fruit. The final planet was very risky due to the fall at the beginning of the planet, but due to complete luck, we landed right next to the Goomba. Seriously, if I was over just by an inch, I would have just squished this poor guy. Now we go on to Tall Trunk's big slide. I was actually expecting to run into tons of enemies here, but I was lucky enough to get through it without defeating a single one. After collecting the second star on Tall Trunk Galaxy, we are finally greeted with our first comment. This comet landed on Cloudy Core Galaxy, meaning we head back into that galaxy and are greeted with cosmic clones, which also gives us tons of star bits. The next comet appeared on Spin Dig Galaxy, but I was super nervous to go back in that galaxy after all of the accidents that happened last time we were there. So I simply decided to progress to the next galaxy in World 3, Freezy Flake. Here I collected the first star with ease. I just had to be very careful with the fire flower here to make sure not to accidentally defeat any enemies. Also, we head into the Chimp's challenge room and take on his minigame challenge to collect a star. In the game, the Chimp classifies these targets as enemies, but these enemies don't actually fit our description of enemies in this run. Why? They don't hurt Mario. We can't classify them as enemies. That means we can run into the targets and complete the challenge. We finally go into the second star of Freezy Flake Galaxy and collect the rock mushroom for the first time. I had to be very careful here to avoid accidentally hitting enemies with the rock mushroom because of how uncontrollable it is. Luckily enough, no enemies were accidentally defeated in the boss, and the boss here was also quite easy to complete as well. We now head back into World 2. This is because we needed to head into Honeybloom Galaxy. Now, this first area of the galaxy was extremely difficult. If you didn't know, 99% of this galaxy is in 2D, meaning jumping over enemies is more difficult than it normally is. Now, I wanted the secret star in this galaxy so bad, but in order to get it, I needed to go into the swing and then do some wall jumps. However, next to the swing is a Goomba, and we can't defeat him. Luckily, after around 4 attempts, I was able to get to the secret star location without defeating the Goomba. I then went and got the first star in this galaxy, which was actually pretty easy to collect, because there weren't many Goombas after this point of the galaxy. Next, we go back into Puzzle Plane Galaxy and do the Comet Star there. This is our first purple coin comet. Now this comet also spawns a bunch of cosmic clones while you're on a timer, while you're collecting purple coins. This was extremely hard to do without any kind of route. If we ran into our cosmic clones, we would have defeated them. So after doing some routing on a different save file, I found the best route I could have done so I could do this comet without running into a single cosmic clone. We then go back into Hightailed Falls and do the speedrun comet there, which was actually pretty easy. We also do the Sky Station Galaxy speedrun as well. Then we do the Flip Swap Galaxy purple coins. After all the comets we did, I needed a break from them, so I went into Haunty Halls Galaxy and collected the 2 stars there. Now there are boos here, but they are undefeatable, lucky for us. Now we have finished most of the galaxies we can at the moment in World 3 and have enough power stars to progress. It's time for the most difficult challenge in this entire run, Bowser Jr.'s Fearsome Fleet. If you didn't know, in this level, to progress to the boss, you need to use Yoshi to redirect bullet bills into some balls of glass. After that, you need to fight the boss, which requires the defeation of more enemies. However, we cannot redirect bullet bills with Yoshi in this run or else it would count as a defeated enemy. So the only option we're provided with is infinite fluttering. Now if you haven't watched my other videos where I need to infinite flutter with Yoshi, you would know that I am the worst person at infinite fluttering. So I decided to look at several tutorials on YouTube on infinite fluttering. After around 25 minutes of fooling around in the same spot in this level, I finally got over the first ball of glass. Now that was just the first one. The other balls of glass would be a different story. The second one I can't come across is located on a moving platform, so I had to use my newly acquired horrible infinite fluttering skills to infinite flutter off the moving platform and onto the next area of the level, skipping the ball of glass. However, by doing this, I wasted a bunch of time. Well, you see, unlike in the first ball of glass, this second ball of glass provided bullet bills that follow Mario. So technically we could have used a guided bullet bill into the ball of glass without it counting as a defeated enemy because we didn't redirect it. Next up we have a lever covered up by some glass which was shattered due to the Hammer Bros hammer. The final ball of glass was shattered thanks to moving bullet bills and we managed to make our way to the boss of the galaxy. Now in order to beat this boss we must redirect bullet bills at certain parts of his body. There is no other way around this, and we cannot infinite flutter. So I had to unfortunately redirect bullet bills over to the correct areas. Just go ahead and watch how much my defeated enemy counter goes up. After this horrifying conclusion to World 3, we made our way to World 4. Well, not really. You see, our first galaxy we're introduced to is Supermassive Galaxy, which requires you to defeat some Koopa Troopas to progress. So I had to think of a plan to not defeat them. As I started thinking of this plan, I went back and did the comment of Haunty Hall's Galaxy. This is when I remembered that the Hungry Luma of World 4 actually provides you a way around Supermassive Galaxy, meaning we could skip Supermassive Galaxy entirely. Now, I unfortunately did not have enough star bits to use the Hungry Luma, so I resorted to Starbank Toad, which, by the way, I don't count as cheating because the game provides it to you, to transfer star bits to me to give to the Hungry Luma. Now we make our way to Sweet Mystery Galaxy, which was actually pretty easy. All I had to do was watch out for Yoshi's auto-target because it could accidentally auto-target enemies. The rest of World 4 was pretty much a breeze. We did the first star in Flipsville Galaxy, and all we had to do was be careful about ground pounds. Then we go back to Sweet Mystery Galaxy and collect this Comet Star there without having to worry about a single enemy spawning. Next we head into Honey Hop Galaxy. Here the only thing we need to worry about are the wasps that try running towards Mario when he uses the bee mushroom. Other than that, we got through this galaxy pretty easily. Next we head into Chompworks Galaxy. Now remember, since Mario technically didn't defeat the Chain Chomps when the Chomps fall into the hole, they don't count as defeation. Now we had to skip Starshine Beach Galaxy, due to the first star requiring you to use Yoshi and use his abilities to redirect Spinies at the glass cages around the Silver Stars. So we head into the final galaxy of this world, Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet. I had to maneuver around the Magic Koopa and had to watch out for the Goombas in this level. The Goombas were the hardest thing to avoid in this level due to most of this level being 2D and Mario not having enough space to go around the Goombas. So I decided to do some black flips to make sure that I didn't jump on any Goomba's head by accident. After defeating Bowser, we head into World 5. World 5 starts us off with Space Storm Galaxy. In the first star, we must make a Bob-omb follow us so we could open up a glass cage. Luckily, since the Bob-omb followed us on their own free will, we didn't count this as a defeated enemy. After going through Space Storm Galaxy, we go into B-Block Galaxy and collect the star there quickly while avoiding the yellow blocks because those hold Octogoombas and those can be defeated easily. We then continue to backtrack to World 2 and do the race with the colorful birds and wildlife Galaxy. Then we finally go back to Space Storm Galaxy and cheese the entire level to get to the top of Topman's Tower. There, the game forces us to defeat 2 Topmen. However, with very precise backflipping, we managed to get to the Power Star without defeating a single enemy. Next, we go into Shiverburn Galaxy. In this galaxy, we go and do the Chimps Challenge first. Then continue on with the rest of the galaxy, being very careful not to run into any Octogoombas. Near the end of the level, the game expects us to defeat some enemies that look like Octogoombas that nobody really knows the name to, so to avoid them, we grab a 6th life and do some hot foots over the lava and make our way to the boss of the galaxy. Next, we head into Upside Dizzy Galaxy and go through the 2D section, being very careful to avoid Paragoombas at all costs. I decided to skip the Fire Flower challenge because I felt lazy and I didn't think this contributed to the run very much. Then we go to Boo Moon Galaxy, where a bunch of boos await us. Just like last time, there is no way to defeat these boos because the game doesn't provide us any light to defeat them with. Even after all of that, we still didn't have enough stars to progress, so I had to go back to World 2 and did the common in Bowser's Lava Lair, and this time doing the cool skips to avoid the enemies, but at a much faster rate and under a lot more stress to avoid defeating the enemies. Still not having enough stars, we head into Fleet Glide Galaxy and collect the Power Star there. The only enemies I had to watch out in this galaxy were the bats, but they can be avoided pretty easily. Next, I decided to take a risk and head into Slip Slam Galaxy. I tried avoiding this galaxy before because of the uncontrollable quicksand and how easy it is to defeat an enemy when you aren't in control. However, I managed to get to the boss and collect the Power Star a lot easier than I originally thought it would be. I then went into the second Power Star of this level. This one was a lot harder than the previous star because of the Sandbird. Since the game spawns in Magic Koopas that we can't defeat, we end up having around 4 or 5 Magic Koopas breaking the Sandbird into pieces. Luckily, with very precise movement and concentration, we managed to collect the Power Star. We finally head into Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker, where we need to make a Bullet Bill follow us into a glass cage blocking the cannon. This does not count as a defeated enemy due to us not redirecting the Bullet Bill. However, the next planet requires us to defeat 2 Boomerang Bros. Unfortunately, just like in Yoshi Star Galaxy, I tried searching for a way around this but could not find a way to the next planet. With that, I managed to collect the Grand Star and we made our way to the final world. World 6.
Yeah.
World 6 requires a lot of thinking and routing in order to get to the very end of the game. Our first task is Multi Monster Galaxy, which was surprisingly easy to get through without defeating any enemies. After completing Multi Monster Galaxy, I went back and did the Beat Block Galaxy Comet. Shout out to the game devs for not putting any enemies in this comet. After that, we went back to World 6 and continued our journey to the final showdown with Bowser. Our first task was Clockwork's Ruins Galaxy. Lots of enemies are present here, but with precise platforming to get around the rotating platforms, we managed to succeed in not defeating a single enemy. Then we went back and got the Secret Star by collecting enough coins and feeding the hungry Luma. Surprisingly enough, you don't need to defeat any enemies in this area to get enough coins to get the star. Next, we ran into a little bit of an issue. Throwback Galaxy was next, and I was really excited to play this level, which would be fine, but the game forces you to defeat a thwomp at the top of the level to get to the boss. Not only that, after Throwback Galaxy, you enter a galaxy where it's required to defeat enemies to progress. So I decided to go and feed the hungry Luma instead to unlock Flashback Galaxy. I took this galaxy as slow as I possibly could because you couldn't see the ground you were walking on, making it not only easy to fall off, but easy to defeat enemies as well, especially with Yoshi's auto-target with the Blimp Fruit. Our hungry Luma path decided to take us to Slimy Spring Galaxy after Flashback. Here, the game expects you to take a shell and then reach the end. However, since shells produce light in front of you and boos and underwater stick enemy things are defeated by the light, we had to do this galaxy without a shell, which surprisingly enough was entirely possible to do. It was extremely boring and annoying to complete, but somehow was possible. After Slimy Spring Galaxy, we still didn't have enough stars to get to the final level of the game and complete the run, so I went back to Multi Monster Galaxy and took a risk and decided to get the second star. The entirety of this level uses the rock mushroom. Not only is it impossible to stop, but nearly uncontrollable. In the middle of the stage, there are two paths, one for enemies and one for starbits, which is harder to get through. I had no choice but to take the starbit route to avoid defeating the enemies. After Multi Monster, we go back to Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet and do the speedrun the comet there. It was extremely hard to get by this galaxy, especially because half of it was in 2D and we're under a lot of pressure from the timer as well. After this point, we're running very low on options for stars. Now I had to go and do comets that were much harder to complete than the regular ones. So I decided to go back to Slipsand Galaxy and do the comet there, as well as the purple coins on Tall Trunk and fighting Gobblegum under a timer. Finally, we head into Chompworks Galaxy and do the Cosmic Clone Comet. This one was probably the hardest comet for this run. We couldn't run into any Cosmic Clones while trying to get the Golden Chain Chomp to get to the final star we needed to get to Bowser. And trust me, there are a lot of Cosmic Clones. After numerous attempts at this level and constant raging, we managed to somehow get the last star that was required to get to the final level for this run, Bowser's Galaxy Generator. The hardest part of this level wasn't Bowser. No, it was actually the first three Hammer Bros of this level. You see, at the beginning of the level, the game requires you to defeat 3 Hammer Bros to progress and get the Spin Drill. However, this wasn't an easy task when you're not allowed to defeat enemies, so how did I progress past this point? Well, if you grab a 6 life at the beginning of the level and long jump at the right angle, you can do a hot foot and just barely make it to the Spin Drill. Now this may sound easy at first, but trust me, it isn't. If you accidentally take damage before getting to the Hammer Bros section, you have to restart. If you aim at the wrong angle, you won't make it to the platform. This took around 4 game overs and several 2-bads to actually get to the platform. After around 40 minutes of jumping into lava, we finally made it. I decided to post this really cool trick to Twitter, only to find that there was a much easier way to do this jump and avoid the Hammer Bros, meaning I entirely wasted my time. The rest of this level was actually pretty easy. We were tasked at defeating some Boomerang Bros though, however with Yoshi's Infinite Flutter, I'm sure that these Boomerang Bros could be avoided. But I was tired and I was on my at least 1 life after attempting countless Infinite Flutter tricks. I decided to just go and defeat the Boomerang Bros so I wouldn't have to go back and do the Hammer Bros section again. After the Boomerang Bros section, we finally made it, the final Bowser boss fight. Well, by this point I was relieved more than anything. There was no way that I could defeat any enemies here. Now with the final hit on Bowser and the Grand Star collected, we did it. We completed this annoying Pacifist run. So with everything done, the grand total of enemies defeated is actually. It could have been worse and it could have been better. If I wasn't dumb most of the time and actually took my time with some things, I probably could have defeated far less enemies than I did. If you want me to redo this run again sometime in the future, maybe on stream or something, let me know in the comments below, because I think I could do this run again with defeating far less enemies. Now wait, before you click off of this video, I still have a very important announcement to make before this video ends. Please check this out.